Zombie apocalypse.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. This is 6 Scale Economist, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the Hot Toys Episode 2 Yoda. So as many of you know, this figure was actually released quite a bit ago, but it actually showed up again on pre-order, similar to what we saw with the Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. And, some people have speculations on why that is. Some people are saying it might be because the sculpt for this figure is going to be similar to the sculpt that Hot Toys is using for the quarter scale Baby Yoda. And so I think that's actually pretty plausible because we saw the Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett come out, and that might be related to the fact that they issued the vintage colored version of the Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. So maybe that's the reason why. I'm not sure, but nevertheless, I think it's a welcomed almost like a reissue. Given I think that this figure is a fantastic figure. So as always, first we're going to talk about this figure from a collection standpoint, and then we're going to talk about it from an investor standpoint. So from a collection standpoint, I personally have this figure in my collection. The sculpt is amazing. Hot Toys may miss the mark on some human characters, but on alien type looking people like Yoda, they're usually on the ball, and this one is no exception. The detail on the face sculpt, it just is Yoda. I don't know. They just couldn't have gotten more perfectly. It just looks fantastic. The hair, I love that they went with the real hair for this look. Almost just glued small pieces of hair, but it totally works. You do have to be careful with this figure though, because if you touch the hair too much or mess around with it, it can actually fall out. So be careful when you do have your Yoda in your collection, or if you already have it. But the head sculpt is fantastic. The cloak as well it's there's some type of wire in it or something, because you can, pose it in a very dynamic pose, somewhat similar to what you're seeing in these pictures, and it's just an awesome touch. The hood is strapped down to the cloak, which I think is fine. I don't really know why you would be displaying Yoda, with his hood on, but it's great. And he obviously comes with this small lightning piece, which actually works. Unfortunately, with Count Dooku and Emperor, the lightning is a little too long to put into regular detolfs. But with this one, you can get him in some pretty cool poses if you want to have him absorbing the lightning, as he did in Episode 2 when he fought Count Dooku. Obviously he comes with his cane, his lightsaber, a couple of different hands. This pose is cool because it highlights this lightsaber is actually magnetic, and he has some type of magnet on his belt, so you can actually just very easily just put the lightsaber onto his waist, and you can get him in some pretty sweet poses where he looks like he's about to draw his lightsaber. That's actually the pose that I have him in right now in my collection. So yeah, this is everything it comes with. I guess this is kind of the downside of the figure. He doesn't come with a whole lot, and he's small. If you've already purchased this figure and gotten it, you've probably noticed that it's a little bit underwhelming when you open the box, because he is almost a normal price point for a Star Wars Hot Toy, but he just really doesn't come with that much, and he is very small. Obviously, he's to scale. But I think what he makes up for in lack of things that he comes with, he makes up for it in just how amazing the detail is on this figure. If there's one Yoda that you need in your collection and you're deciding between this one and the Empire Strikes Back one, I would just go with this one. He's so much more dynamic in terms of the things that you can pose him with. You can pose him with Count Dooku, you can pose him with Yoda and Anakin and Obi-Wan from Episode 3. He's so versatile in that sense, and he just looks good with so many other figures. Whereas the Empire Strikes Back figure, there's not a whole lot that you can display that Yoda with. I guess you can do it with the R2-D2. But other than that, there's not really a whole lot of things that really make sense from a cinematic standpoint to display with that Empire Strikes Back Yoda. So if I personally have both Yodas, because I'm a freak. But if I had to pick one, I would pick this Episode 2 Yoda. Yeah, it's just a great Yoda. You need a Yoda in your collection, and it's great. And then talking about from a price point, let's just jump right into it from an investment perspective. $189. Call it $220 all in. You're paying shipping and taxes to get this figure if you're ordering it from Sideshow. I think it's a fine price. Do I think that it's a little high? Yes, and that's because I think it should have came with a secondary head sculpt. At this price point, it's similar to what we saw with the Empire Strikes Back Yoda. I would have loved to have seen a second head sculpt with his eyes closed, and then I think I would have been very happy with this price point. But with that being said, while I do think the price is a little bit high, I definitely think it's a great investment. What's great about this one is that, the all-in cost is significantly lower than like the all-in cost that you're seeing at other hot toys. Like, it seems like the going rate these days is anywhere from like 242 to 267 is what you're paying these days for a standard hot toy. And so like the fact that you have a lower price point on this one, obviously because it's a smaller figure, is really nice. And you're going to do just fine on this one from an investment perspective. Even as this figure is still available on pre-order, because it's already been issued, you can get a good sense of what it's like in the secondary market, because you see these prices, like it's sold for like 300, sold for like 240. Like, I would say 240, I would say 230 to 250 all in shipped is what this figure is going for in the secondary market while it is still available for pre-order on Sideshow. And that's solely because people are willing to pay a little bit of a premium to just get the figure now, as opposed to waiting for when this figure is supposed to release, which technically it's supposed to be releasing like very soon. It looks like it should be coming out next month. With COVID-19, we'll see if that, holds or not. But just the fact that, some people are willing to pay like 300 shipped, or like, 245, 250-ish shipped, and this doesn't even include tax, so really it's more like 260 shipped. Just to have the figure like a month early should give you a pretty clear signal as to how this figure is going to perform in the secondary market. It's going to do fine. I'd imagine the Empire Strikes Back Yoda hasn't done great in the secondary market. You can like all in, you can usually get it for maybe like $10 above retail, if that, if not just buy it at retail. It has been trending a little bit up lately, but like overall that figure has kind of like stayed firm, and I think that's mainly because it doesn't have as much posability in terms of other characters that you can pose it with. So I feel like it doesn't screen as a necessity to a lot of people's collection, whereas this Yoda kind of is as a necessity, just because of how many different display and dioramas it completes, and how many figures it looks great with. So I'd imagine this figure, like once this figure like sells out again, like it's probably going to be like a $300 figure. It's probably going to be anywhere from like a $290 to $340 figure in the secondary market once it sells out, which is really good, which means obviously you're going to be fine. You're going to make a little bit of money on your investment. If you ever decide that you want to sell it, like you're going to be totally fine. You're not going to lose any money on it. And in terms of like the price from like an absolute value, like it's a pretty low number. So like, you're not putting that much money to work by, investing in this figure. So I definitely think like if you haven't already picked up this figure on the first run and you're like on the fence, like just pick up this figure. Like it doesn't cost that much relative to how much we are spending these days on other hot toys. And given that it's like almost like a sure investment where it's just not going to go down in value, you basically have no downside. It's an idea that I've alluded to in other videos. It's just like a free option, like in the stock market. Like you're buying a free option here. You don't have any downside. Take the free optionality if you have the excess money that you want to like put into your Hot Toys collection, and just pick up this figure. Just toss it on the pre-order list, and I don't think you need to reach and go pick it up right now in the secondary market, like paying like these numbers. Like if I were you, I would rather just get a brand new one, from Sideshow, where you have like this guarantee on quality control, and just put in the pre-order now. Hopefully it comes out next month. I'm a little bit more hesitant to believe these arrival dates from Sideshow, but we have seen a lot of figures released lately, which is really great. Like we've seen a lot of people start to get shipments of like Mud Trooper, the Ant-Man, Han Solo Deluxe. Like, so it seems like Hot Toys are starting to like push out their shipments now, which is really great. So it shows maybe we're coming out of at least the COVID-19 problems related to Hot Toys distribution. But you don't need to reach for this figure and pick it up in the secondary market now. Just pre-order it if you don't have it. Like, it's a great figure, and like obviously if you already have one, like I don't think it's one that you need if you want to like one to rock, one to stock, double up on a second one. Like, I don't know if this is the one that you need to do it with, because like on a percentage basis you probably have some figures out there that are going to have a better return on investment. But just like picking up this figure, like you shouldn't have any concerns. Like, I think it's a great investment, and I think it's like a great figure to have in like your collection. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. Just short and quick one. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what figures you want me to talk about next. This is 6 Scale Economist, and we will see you in the next video.